My dear friends, again, welcome. And those who are coming here to our parish from out of town and visiting our parish for the first time, welcome to this solemn celebration of the Nativity of the Lord on Christmas Day. What is the meaning of Christmas? What is the special message of Christmas? We will understand this better if we compare the season with Advent. As you know, for 4 Sundays of Advent, with the wreath, Advent is about hope, which the world needs today. A lot of hope. In a world that is broken by desperation and violence and anger, hope is the inspiration that will help us go on. Hope is based on the promise that God, a faithful God, gave to us that He will send us the light, the Messiah, and Christmas is the fulfillment of that promise. God sent His Son to redeem us as the light, who will inspire us and give us new life. That is the general meaning of Christmas. So Christmas is about joy. It's about happiness and peace because it is the fulfillment of the promise that God made. And so we focus on one thing, joy and happiness. Let's go into that because that is the beauty of the season. It's a joyful, happy season. But what is happiness? You know, all of us are seeking it. It seems to be so difficult to attain it. And how do we possess it? What is the path that will lead to it? And where can it be found? It is important to go into the true meaning of happiness because we have to accept that many people have confused understanding of what happiness is. There are some misconceptions of people that causes a lot of frustration, you know, because they don't have the right understanding and notion of happiness. If your understanding is faulty, then your attitude is affected. And so there seems to be like a desperate longing. People are longing for it, but it is difficult to possess it. So let's go into it and see the true meaning of happiness and how we can attain it. So by way of outline, we will give the main principle, you know, behind happiness and how to attain it, and then we'll enumerate important points to correct people's misconceptions about happiness. And then we will look at Jesus, how Jesus laid down the path for us. How did He live and attain happiness in spite of everything? And we will look at the Lord Jesus as our foundation and basis. Here, we will learn from His life, from His person, the true meaning of happiness, and hopefully help us attain it and help us in our relationship with God. So let me begin by saying, very important principle here for our understanding. Just because we are born into this world, it doesn't mean that we deserve to be happy. No, we don't. Or let me repeat and rephrase it. Just because we are born into this world, it doesn't mean that the world owes us happiness. If you want to be happy, you have to work for it. You have to earn it and deserve it. Because happiness will not fall from the sky. You are responsible for your own happiness. That is a general principle I want to tell you. Our birth in this world is not a guarantee that we will be happy. We have to work for it. Okay, now there are very important principles I want to enumerate here and hopefully guide us. First of all, money cannot give you happiness. Money gives you the means, freedom, and flexibility, but it does not guarantee happiness. Why? Because if you are poor and you're not happy, you will never be happy even if you become rich. Because happiness is not material. It cannot guarantee happiness. Second, people cannot give you happiness. Sometimes you think, well, there is this great guy, he is so popular, he is so wealthy. If I can be a friend to him, probably I'll be okay. No, you won't. He won't give you his money. That's why he's a billionaire, because he has been getting money and he's not giving it to you. In these big parties, in the yachts and the palaces, only the people who are beautiful and wealthy are admitted there. If you're ugly, you're off limits. I mean, these yachts, multi-million-dollar yachts, only beautiful people are there. The contractors and the vendors out when the party begins. You cannot get close there, otherwise they will arrest you, for trespassing. Or you say, there is this wonderful, gorgeous girl, so popular, so famous, and wealthy. If I can just marry her, I will be happy. No, you won't. Because if you are alone and single and not happy, you will never be happy even if you marry that girl. Because happiness cannot be given by a person. It is from within. So what is the main important principle here? Happiness begins with intimacy. There are many kinds of intimacy, like human intimacy, relationships, but the deepest form of intimacy is spiritual. It is intimacy with God. That's the main basic principle. It is from within. It is a sense of belonging to somebody and being embraced by somebody great. That intimacy creates self-esteem. You begin to appreciate yourself because you are loved. Self-esteem. You begin to realize, I am worth something. It's coming from within. You appreciate yourself. And then from this self-esteem, you create a vision, a sense of mission. I have to do something. I have to do something to prove to myself that I'm worth something. And that those who don't believe in me and those who are my enemies, I will prove to them that they are wrong. Then you become brave. It's from within. And this appreciation of who you are. Only then you can handle things. Only then you can relate. Because of the abundance of self-esteem coming from within. Because you're close to somebody who cares for you, who loves you. That is the very foundation of happiness. If you cannot appreciate yourself, and if you're not happy with yourself, it is impossible to take other people and to relate with people. It's from the abundance of goodness and gratitude that who you are, that you're able to expand that to others. And then you will be able to handle things in your life, material things, but it's within. It's based on self-esteem. If you do not accept yourself and love yourself and believe in yourself, you cannot have a stable relationship in your life. So that's the most basic foundation. Then we will look at Jesus and how he lived it. From the life of Jesus, a great God, he owned everything, he created everything. He was born poor to show to the world what it means to be truly happy. All his life, thinking that he is God. You know, the only quiet, peaceful time in his life were the 40 days after the resurrection. That was the only time when life was quiet and peaceful. The rest of his life was difficult. It was a struggle. You know, but in spite of that, he was composed. He's telling us something about happiness. All his life was difficult. Even when he was born as a baby, Herod already was looking for him to kill him. Because the Magi said that the Messiah is born in Bethlehem, and Herod became jealous. He was already searching for him to kill him. That's why they have to escape the wrath of Herod, and they flew to Egypt, Joseph and Mary, to hide from Herod. And they had a difficult time there. It was a foreign land. When Herod died, they went back to Israel, and he was 12, and they went to Nazareth, a hill country that was a poor, simple village. And he grew up, formed by his father, Joseph. Joseph taught him. They had a carpentry shop. So after school, he has to work and help his father. You know, they were making chairs and furnitures and tables. And here, Jesus learned how to work. After school, Joseph trains him to do carpentry, to work. And this is very important in happiness in life. You have to do something. You know, that's why a good father knows how to teach his child the value of work, because work teaches you structure, schedule, responsibility. There is an order. We have a timetable, we have to produce. Jesus has to report there after work. It was difficult after school, and then work. But it taught him how to be strong, how to be responsible, and that will help him later on in his work, especially in his ministry. He got that from his father. And then, later on, when he did public ministry, it was a difficult task. He started when he was 30, and he chose the right friends. You know, it's important with family and friends. Choose the right friends. People who are pleasant and not toxic. You know, be careful in choosing your friends. You know, our families, we don't have a choice. It's there, mother, father. But your friends, please choose them. Because some people can be toxic, you know, and they will make your life miserable. He chose even 12 friends, one betrayed him. Okay? We need people. So from there, they started public ministry. It was not easy. They have to go around, do something good. He started caregiving, helping the poor, feeding the hungry. But in spite of this, he was criticized. He was criticized by people. He had enemies, you know, that were after him. But he stood his ground. The perfect time where we can prove that he was a strong person. You know, that he was a happy and strong person during the temptation. When he went to the wilderness, before he started his mission, the devil tried to sway him, presenting him everything from wealth to prestige to power, both politics and religion and all of this. And his answer was, I am the Lord your God. Do not tempt the Lord your God. That is self-esteem. He knew who he was. He stood his ground, which means he was confident. He was strong. The devil did not win. That is a happy person. If you are strong and with strong self-esteem, nothing can sway you. Nothing can defeat you. His mission was clear. And then another important teaching of Jesus was forgiveness. You know, the entire heart of the gospel is about forgiveness, which means that do not live in the past. This is one great obstacle to happiness. It starts the moment we wake up. Right? We wake up when our minds are clear. You know, when we are in the bathroom, our minds start to open the can and go back to the past. And then we recall all the heartaches, resentments, and unforgiveness, and the pains, and it destroys our day because we live in the past. That is an obstacle to happiness. The lesson here is learn from the past, but leave it, close it, it's over. That is the meaning of forgiveness. There is a hospital in my former parish with hundreds of people in the psychiatric ward. And the doctor in charge there said, "Father, if only these people learn how to forgive, 90% of them will go home." It's the unforgiveness that makes them crazy, that they bring every day and going back every moment. It's all over. Begin again. That is the teaching of Jesus, because that is a key to happiness. Difficult life until the end. He was arrested, terrible suffering. He was crucified and killed. But because he stood firm, because he was strong, the Father raised him up. The price of self-esteem, the price of being brave. The Father raised him and gave him glory at the end. That is the road to happiness. Now, the road is open to us. This is Christmas time, when we are called to be joyful and happy. Travel the path that Jesus has laid, and you will find the secret of happiness. Again, happiness is not falling from the sky. It is your responsibility. And if you're not happy, probably it's your fault. Sorry. That's the end of the homily. Okay?